The different lookup formulas are super easy to use and they're very powerful and used all the time. So if you work with spreadsheets in any capacity and don't know how to use these formulas, make sure to stick around because I'm going to explain this in a way that even a child will understand. Now the three main lookup formulas are Vlookup, XLookup, and XLookup. And if I'm being completely honest, I pretty much never use the first two and I only use XLookup because it's so powerful it can do both. Actually, it can do more than both, which you'll see in a little while. So for example, we're using something everybody knows, a parking lot. And we have all of our lanes on the left side and we have our spots on the top. And the goal is we need to find our car. Now, if it's a small empty lot, it's easy to find, but once you have cars, it gets really complicated. So for the first example, we have Vlookup. So we'll type equals Vlookup, open parentheses. Now we know we parked on lane 5, so we're going to type lane 5 in quotes. Then we'll put a comma. And now we need to tell it where the parking lot is. So we need to select the range. So everything in yellow and in gray, we're going to select. And that will be the range. Next, we need to say what the index is. In the index, it's just how many columns you're going to be counting over. So we parked on the second spot. You need to include the header column, so it will be column 3. And as you can see, when I pressed enter, we have a picture of the car next to Vlookup, and that's because we found our car. Now, if I changed it to 2 for the index instead of 3, you'll see that it's blank, and that's because it's pointing to the wrong cell. Now, Vlookup will only work with columns, and the search key has to be present in the first column of the range that you select. So it always needs to be to the left of what we're looking up. Now, similar to Vlookup, we have XLookup, and V stands for vertical, H stands for horizontal, so this is a horizontal lookup instead. So this time we'll type equals XLookup, and we'll type spot 2. Then we'll put a comma and select that same parking lot of yellow and gray. But this time, instead of searching for the very left column, it's searching for the very top column. So what we'll need to do is count how many rows our car is down from the top, then add 1 to include the row that the header's in. So since it's in lane 5, we'll put 6 to include the header. And as you can see, we return the picture of the car again. Now, as I mentioned, I never use Vlookup or XLookup because you can do the same exact thing a lot easier with XLookup. And honestly, if you're confused at all about either of those two formulas, you don't have to use them, so you can just kind of push them from your mind and use XLookup instead. Now, as an alternative for Vlookup, we'll type equals XLookup, open parentheses. Then in quotes, we'll put the search key of lane 5 just like last time. Then we'll put a comma. But this time, we're only going to select the lookup range, which is column A, and only select the return range, which is column C. Now, as an alternative for XLookup, we'll use that same exact formula, so we'll type equals XLookup, open parentheses, then we'll put spot 2 in quotes, and that's our search key, and we'll put a comma and select the top row, so row 8 in this case, and that's where spot 2 is located, so that will be our lookup range, and then we'll put a comma, and our return range will be row 13, since that's where lane 5 is. Now, you don't have to type out the search key every time. Instead, you can simply reference a cell. So let's say that lane 5 is actually in cell C2. Instead of having lane 5 as the search key, you can simply select cell C2, and then the contents of C2 will be your search key instead. And using a cell reference will allow you to make one formula, and then drag that down to different rows to apply that formula to different criterias. Now, best of all, unlike the other two, XLookup doesn't have to be in a specific order. So for example, you could have the lookup range to the right or the left of the result range, and it won't matter. Now, what if you don't know where you parked? Instead, you know what your car looks like, and we want to use XLookup to find what spot and what lane you parked in. Now, if you know you parked in spot 2, but not what lane, you can type equals XLookup, select the picture of the car in cell B2, put a comma, the parking lot under spot 2 will be the lookup range, and then all the lanes will be the return range, and you'll see that lane 5 populates. Alternatively, to find the spot when you know the lane, you can type equals XLookup, select the photo of the car, select the parking lot range that includes lane 5, and then select all the different spots, and it will return that we found the car in spot 2. So that's how to use XLookup in a whole bunch of different ways where you want an exact match, and I hope the parking lot made sense. Now imagine you want to find the total sales for an employee for 2024. The search key would be the employee's name, the lookup range will be the list of all the employees, and then the return range would be all the sales from 2024. And it would return the total sales for that employee in 2024. So that's it. Like and subscribe for more.